Okay, Mr. Martin, you were meeting with Mr. Davis, correct?
Yes, and I had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Davis. I think he may have exited the meeting by accident, but I believe we're in a position to at least resolve the Jada Wallace matter today with a misdemeanor. I'll let him make sure he has an opportunity to speak to his client before we finalize those terms. We had an offer to Mr. Feigelson on the David Cheney case for a misdemeanor offer, and the same on the Andres Morgan case. I don't see Mr. Morgan.
I don't either. And then I see Milton Johnson is here. Does he have an attorney?
He was being not in the J side.
Okay, Mr. Johnson? Can you unmute your device, please?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, today was the date that was set for your probable cause conference. It looks like you applied for court-appointed counsel, but you were denied because you're not indigent, meaning you made too much money.
Wow, I don't really make any money, but I don't know.
I don't have any access to that information because the
Okay,
application
yes,
was denied
yes.
by the
Yeah, I
public
received a letter
defender's
that it was
office.
denied.
You can try to appeal that denial and maybe provide some further information about your income and the other things that the things that you pay. Or
Yeah.
you can try to hire an attorney.
I can represent myself because this case is fictitious. It's this is
Okay.
just yes.
So you don't want to try to appeal the denial?
No.
Okay. Okay. Are you familiar with the criminal procedure for a felony, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're familiar with what it takes to defend yourself against assault with a dangerous weapon, which is scheduled for preliminary examination next week?
It's in 2 weeks, isn't it? The 29th or something like that?
No, it's the 23rd. It's next week.
It's the 23rd? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because one of the procedures is that you have the right to have it within 21 days of your
Okay.
arraignment. So
Okay.
the 29th would mean we went beyond that. So these are the things
Okay.
that you probably don't know. And
Okay, well,
reasons why you would need an attorney unless you're gonna study
Okay.
those court rules.
Okay, but the thing is that my neighbor and me and my neighbor exchanged words.
Well,
and
let me stop you. Let me stop
Okay.
you. Because
Okay.
you've been advised at the time of your arraignment that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, anything you put in writing can be used against you.
Yeah.
And so
Yes,
now is not the time you stop talking over
Okay.
me. Now is not
Yes.
the time for
I'm
you to
sorry.
present a defense because this is a
Yes.
probable cause conference. Right now,
Yes.
I'm trying to ascertain your representation and if you want to appeal the denial and see if you can get approved for an attorney to defend you in this matter. Or if you're going to prepare yourself to defend yourself. Right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're doing a terrible job of defending yourself so far. You don't even know how many days you have to have your preliminary examination. You didn't even know
Yes.
what day it was on. And
Yes.
you're waiving your right by talking in front of the prosecutor and an abundance of witnesses about the nature of the case
Yes.
out of turn. So these are the reasons why you would need an attorney, sir.
Yes. I understand.
So I'm gonna ask you again, did you want to contact the public defender's office to appeal the denial?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Does either Mr. Goodrich or Mr. Feigelson know what number he needs to call to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor. He can call the main line. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Stephen Feigelson with the PDs. He can call 517-679-2970. That's the main number, Mr. Johnson.
Hold on, let me get an ink pen. Hold on, write this down. You said it's 517
679
679
2979
2970. Okay.
79.
2979.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so you'll do that. You should contact them immediately so that you can proceed with the appeal process and provide them with any updated or any additional information that you can to show what your financial situation is, and maybe that will impact the outcome. You're currently scheduled for another court date. It's going to be on September 23rd, which is next week, and it's at 8:30 in the morning. And so you need to appear for
Yes.
that court date, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And so we'll address any timeline at that time. I want to get some updates on your appeal at that point, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions today, sir?
No, not at this time.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and contact the public defender's office, and then we'll see you next week on the 23rd at 8:30.
All right,
Before,
thank you.
not to interrupt your honor, but before we go off the record, will we be treating next week's court appearance as a PCC, or will it be?
Absolutely.
So we will not be expected to bring in witnesses.
No, because even if he did get granted appeal, I'm sure that they would need to request some discovery, and he obviously hasn't requested any discovery, so we would not be prepared to proceed next week.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, do you have any questions, Mr. Johnson?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, then we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you. You have a good day.
No problem. You too.
Never mind.
Okay, Mr. Davis is returned. Mr. Davis, I don't know if you needed to speak with any of your clients.
No, I spoke with them. I've worked out Ms. Wallace, and we're setting another PCC to potentially work out Trenton Wallace.
Okay, well, Trenton Wallace is scheduled for a preliminary examination next week. We can treat that as a PCC.
And I have no objection to treating that hearing as a PCC. We expect a misdemeanor resolution, but I just need to spend a little bit more time with the victim to make sure they understand all the permutations.
Okay, we're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jada Wallace. File number is 22-02193. FY council appearance.
Chris Martin for the people.
Afternoon, Your Honor. Maurice Davis appearing with Trenton Wallace, who's present appearing on Zoom, B76203.
Okay, well, this one is, I call Jada Wallace.
Oh, you called Jada Wallace. I'm sorry. Appearing with Jada Wallace, who's present appearing via Zoom. Ms. Wallace, will you state your name for the record?
She's muted. Can you unmute, ma'am?
Yeah, Jada Wallace.
Okay. Today was the date that was scheduled for a probable cause conference. This matter is scheduled for preliminary examination next week. However, my understanding is that the parties have come to a resolution.
That is correct, Your Honor. In exchange for Ms. Wallace's guilty plea to an added count of improper possession of a firearm in violation of MCL 750.227D, which is a 90-day misdemeanor with up to a $100 fine and mandatory forfeiture of the weapon or device. The people agree to dismiss the balance of the charges in the complaint, which I believe is only one count of CCW. Additionally, there's a Killebrew agreement to no upfront jail at the time of sentencing, and the people have no objection to treatment under HYTA status.
That's a correct recitation of the agreement, Judge.
Okay, and your client, Mr. Davis, wishes to accept that offer today?
She does.
Okay, Ms. Wallace, that's correct. You want to accept the offer and plead guilty to the added count 2 of improper possession of a firearm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Ms. Wallace, you're represented by Mr. Davis. You have the right to proceed to a trial in this matter, and you have the right to have a trial by judge or jury. You have the right at the time of trial to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge being brought against you, and they have to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to question, see, and hear any of the witnesses that the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to call your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe would further a defense to the charge. You have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. Do you understand those rights, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you wish to give up each of those rights today?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want
Is anybody promising you anything to get you to waive your rights?
Mm-mm.
I need
no.
a yes or a no.
No.
Okay. Are you sure that you know what you're doing right now, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, because if you don't, we can give you more time.
That's fine.
Okay,
Are
you
you-
want more time, or you want to proceed?
No more time.
You're ready to
Okay.
proceed, right, Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Is anybody threatening you to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty?
No.
And you're pleading guilty because you believe you are guilty?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation or parole?
No, ma'am.
No. And you understand that a guilty plea could result in a conviction that you may need to report to your current employer, or you may need to put a conviction on your future job applications?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that a conviction could also have an impact on any immigration status that you may be seeking?
Yes.
Okay. There's a Killebrew agreement. That's an agreement about how you're going to be sentenced. That agreement is between you, your attorney, and then Mr. Martin. I am not a party to that agreement. You understand that?
Yes.
So that means I'm not agreeing to sentence you to no upfront jail. If I decide that I'm going to sentence you to upfront jail, I will at that time give you an opportunity to withdraw your plea, okay?
Okay.
As to the added count 2 of improper possession of a firearm, how do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, I need a factual basis, please.
Now, Ms. Wallace, you had contact with an officer in Lansing, Michigan. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was I don't have the date and time in front of me. You have that, Mr. Martin?
One moment.
Okay. And we'll get to the date and time that this incident happened in a second. But during the incident, you had a firearm inside of your vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that firearm was located in the center area. It wasn't locked in the trunk. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And it's a firearm that you own legally. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have a CPL in order to possess that vehicle inside of the center of the vehicle. Is that correct?
Mm-mm.
Let her know.
No.
That's correct, right? Okay. Second.
Well, she shook her head no, and then you said that's correct. So I'm confused now.
Do you have a CPL, ma'am?
No. No.
The incident occurred on August 16th, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, I'm satisfied, Judge.
Okay, what was the address, ma'am?
2105 Hillcrest Street, Lansing, Michigan.
Okay, that's in Ingham County.
Yes.
Okay. Any additional factual basis, Mr. Martin?
I think we covered it. I apologize for my delay in getting the information.
Oh, no problem.
The court is satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea. I find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. This matter will be set for sentencing, and Ms. Wallace will be referred to probation so they can provide the court with a pre-sentence report and recommendation. And so
Would the court consider immediate sentencing? She doesn't have any
the
criminal
court
history
will
at all.
not consider the court will not consider immediate sentencing if there's a request for HYTA.
Okay.
Okay, and so the sentencing date's gonna be October 27th at 8:30 in the morning, and that can be held via Zoom if all parties consent.
Yes.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And so, Ms. Wallace, you're gonna need to turn yourself into the probation department within the next 48 business hours because they need to get you set up for a pre-sentence evaluation, and they will advise the court about how they believe you should be sentenced as well as your eligibility as to HYTA status, okay?
Okay, so I go to a probation office.
Yeah, you need to come to the court. We're on the we're in City Hall. The probation office is actually on the 5th floor of our building. So you'll go to the probation department within the next 2 business days, and you'll let them know that you have a referral for sentencing, and they need to do a pre-sentence report. They will give you a questionnaire that you need to complete and then get back to them so they can set you up for an interview. I believe the interview will likely be held virtually though, okay? But you have to come in person to get it set up.
Okay,
Okay. And so again, we're in City Hall on the 5th floor for probation. The court is on the 6th floor if you have any questions. Do you have any
Okay.
questions at this time, however?
no, ma'am.
Okay. So you'll come in and get that taken care of, and then we'll proceed with your sentencing on October 27th at 8:30 in the morning. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing for the people.
Nothing, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, you're all set on that matter, Ms. Wallace. Did
Okay.
Mr. Wallace? Mr. Wallace may have hung up. I don't see him.
You don't see him?
Oh, he never logged on. Okay, sounds good. So we won't go on the record on that. I'm just gonna treat next week as a PCC anyways.
Oh, okay. So we're set.
It looks like it does look like he's logging in now though.
And just for confirmation, our next date is the 22nd?
For Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
Should I give the file to you guys?
For data, it's October 27th.
For Mr. Wallace. No problem. Yes, it's gonna be September 23rd at 9 a.m.
September 23rd, Friday, 9 a.m. Okay. I'll have it. Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. He's not actually connecting to his audio, so.
I'll let him know.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Awata Coker, which matter are you here on?
David Cheney.
Oh, okay.
Judge, he's in custody. But that's not Mr. Cheney.
Yes, Mr. Cheney. How many times you gonna say that, Steve Ferguson?
Well, you're not the Cheney that I'm looking for, though. There's 2 Brian Cheneys. Or David Cheneys, excuse me.
Lord help us. Okay, just a moment, sir. Mr. Cheney, what's your date of birth?
My date of birth is 11/11/2003.
Okay, yep, you're the wrong David Cheney, sir. On
Really?
this matter. Yeah, this is not your matter.
So where's my court?
No, I wish I could tell you. Let's see if we can look it up, but I don't know. Is it in 54A District Court?
Yeah.
I suppose you have a middle name, sir?
Yeah, I got a middle name, Lee.
Okay, well, it doesn't look like you have a matter in our court, sir.
He typed the wrong address?
Yes, Flores tomorrow.
Here's an exam,
What's the case number?
22-02308. I also had a probable cause conference today
Twenty-two
with
dash
Judge
0208, you said 008?
308.
2308.
He also had a PCC today on a new file, but that one they get off the record.
How come his name's not popping up in our system?
So I just had my hopes up for
Oh,
nothing.
it's Cheney, CHANEY. It's spelled differently. It's not even spelled the same.
So I just had my hopes up for nothing.
No, you don't have your hopes up for nothing. Calm down. Did you have a PCC today?
Yes.
It looks like you have an exam tomorrow before Judge Flores.
You're my judge. It says on the paper.
Can you go pull up his name so I can see all his files?
I'm sitting in jail for $200 on bond, and I don't have nobody to bond me out. I got a job and I go to college.
No, the case you have a felony on is before Flores. It's not before me. And that's scheduled for tomorrow. What else? I think both your cases are before Flores.
This morning.
You had a PCC today before Judge Flores.
I was supposed to, yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing my sane.
Oh, you didn't see Flores today?
No, nobody's trying to see me. I've been sitting here for 2 weeks.
Have you spoken to your attorney?
Yes,
You spoke to Mr. Abbott?
yes.
Okay, well, he told Flores that you were going to be continuing to run your exam next week.
Why you say that?
Well, unless you're gonna waive your right to the exam, then you would run it.
Can I do that?
You gotta talk to your attorney about that. I can't tell you what you can do on your case. I have no clue what's going on, and I'm not your attorney. Mr. Abbott, will need to talk to you. We'll shoot him an email, or we'll have someone here shoot him an email. He has a couple of his colleagues here, so that he will contact you today.
They just canceled my court last week for nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, because again, those cases are not before my court. So I'm gonna have your attorney call you so he can get you all squared away with what's going on with your cases.
So we can talk about bond or nothing?
I'm not your judge, so I can't address your bond. I'm gonna have someone call right now to see if your attorney could log in.
Okay. They're not giving me my medicine here.
Okay, we'll make sure Mr. Abbott addresses that. I'm having him log in right now. Well, I'm having his colleagues try to get him on the phone, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
You see what y'all did to me? Why did y'all put me in the same unit as another Cheney and then kick me off of court, have my hopes up for nothing? Shut the fuck.
Judge, you should be logging in a few minutes. I let him know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No problem, sir. Mr. Abbott, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Somehow the jail has put the wrong David Cheney in our courtroom, but your client has some concerns. One addressing his bond, which is not before me, so that would be before Flores, but also he indicates that they're not giving him his medication. So we wanted you to log in so that if there's something that needs to be addressed, you can do that. Plus you can advise him as to what's going on because he wasn't aware. So let me put you both in a private meeting room.
Okay.
Let's see. Could someone call the jail and tell them we put on our list David Keith Cheney, and we want him on here because we have an AAG waiting, and they got to stop putting the wrong people in Okay, Mr. Abbott, were you all set in the breakout room?
Yes, Your Honor, I explained to him that we'll be in court tomorrow in Judge Flores's court.
Okay, sounds good. Hopefully you can help him address the issue regarding his medication.
Yeah, I will be in contact with the nurse at the jail.
Very good. Okay, let's see if I can bring him back and if the jail can put the right David Cheney from my court on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put the one in there.
That's all we have though for you. Thank you, Mr. Abbott.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, let me bring him back. I guess I could close the breakout room. Mr. Fragles, is this the same thing that happened when you went to the jail? Was this case?
No, that was a different case. I knew that it was not the right individual because I had met with the other Mr. Cheney and
Okay.
knew him
sounds
to be
good.
totally
So,
different.
I totally was hoping that this had only happened one time with the same person.
Yeah, no,
And not that we're just mixing people up all the time now at the jail.
apparently they are.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
No problem, Judge. Thank you.
It's the first time it's ever happened, I believe. You would be able to have one of your accounts, it just wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to go to the store, not even order something like that. That happened in the joint thing. If it was a fraudulent card, I don't understand. It's fake. Exactly. Well, the Johnsons come up with a lot of shit, they come up with some shit. They still man show ridiculous. This is ridiculous. That's what it's been. My brother said I put $100 on that account. I said, hell, I can't do that, so I need to money. You ain't got that. That's what she wrote back. She said that card, so hard to tie. Yeah. But they had. We're down in the and my dad put $100 on my account yesterday, and I only gave him $20. That's all I want. You ain't got nothing to do with that. They can't spend. They can't penalize somebody. That's crazy. Two different races and everything.
Okay, Mr. Ferguson, I think this is the correct Mr. Cheney.
I believe it is, Your Honor.
Dad, my name's not spelled right.
Oh, we know that wasn't, they put the wrong Mr. Cheney on. We've gotten that
Okay.
taken care of, sir. Okay, Mr. Ferguson, did you need to speak to him?
I do briefly in a breakout room. Thank you.
Okay, just a moment. Mr. Martin, you can ignore this request that you're gonna get. It won't put him in the breakout room.
Am I supposed to push that too?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Have we heard from Bernard Lewis?
He's not appeared, and I don't think Mr. Goodrich has had contact,
Okay.
so there'll be a bench warrant.
Is that the same with Andres Morgan?
He's in custody.
Oh, okay, very good.
Ju-
Okay, we ready with Mr. Cheney?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
Okay, we're on the record in the matters of the people of the state of Michigan versus David Keith Cheney, Cheney, file number 21-00382, 21-01134, 22-02357. Council appearance.
Chris Martin for the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office, appearing on cases 21-382 FY and 22-2357 FY.
Good afternoon, Assistant Attorney General Emmanuel Owutu Coker, on behalf of the people. appearing on the file that contains the one count of flight non-support. I do not have that file number though.
Oh,
That's 21-1134, Your Honor, I believe.
yep, I have it here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Cheney for all three files today, Your Honor. We wish to have the 21-1134 FY proceed to exam next week, and Mr. Cheney is going to be accepting a plea bargain in the two files with the people today, Your Honor.
Okay, file number ending in 1134, failure to pay child support, that's scheduled for in-person examination next week, September 23rd at 9 o'clock in the morning. Do we have a reason to address that time at all?
I do not, Your Honor.
I don't either, but I'll be in touch with Mr. Coker and your office if there's not going to be an exam next week.
Okay, sounds good. So for the purposes of that case, I guess Mr. Walter Coker is all set for today. Is that correct, Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then as to the county matters, how are we proceeding?
Yes,
Mr.
would you like, with respect to file 21-382 FY, it's my understanding that Mr. Cheney wishes to enter a guilty plea to an added count of methamphetamine use. That's a 1-year misdemeanor and a $2,000 fine in violation of MCL 333.7404 2A-A. Again, 1-year misdemeanor, $2,000 fine. In exchange for the guilty plea in that case, the people agree to dismiss the balance of the charges in file 21-382 FY and file 22-2357 FY in its entirety. There's also a Killebrew agreement to no further upfront jail at the time of sentence.
Mr. Ferguson?
Your Honor, that's an accurate statement of what the defense wishes to do today.
Okay, and Mr. Cheney, you wish to accept that offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you raise your right hand? Okay, are you unable to open your hand? Is that what's going on? Okay.
Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. Cheney, you have the right in this matter to proceed to a trial. You have the right to have a trial by jury, or you could have a trial by judge. At the time of trial, you have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor bring sufficient evidence to prove each element of the charge being brought against you, and they have to prove each of the elements beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses that the prosecution intends to call against you. You have the right also to call your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe would further a defense to the charges. You have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. In order to accept the offer and plead guilty to the added count of use of methamphetamine, you would have to give up each of those rights. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're willing to give those rights up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anybody making any threats to you to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Has there been any promises made to you if you waive your rights and plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
You understand that the maximum penalty is 1 year and or $2,000 in fines?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, there's also a Killebrew agreement. That's an agreement about how you're going to be sentenced. And that agreement is between you, Mr. Feigelson, and Mr. Martin. I am not a party to that agreement. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
That means that I'm not agreeing to not sentence you to jail. So if I decide that I'm going to sentence you to jail, I will give you an opportunity then to withdraw your plea, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that a guilty plea can result in a conviction that you may need to report to your employer or to a future employer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, are you currently on probation or parole?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you also understand that a guilty plea can result in a conviction that may have an impact on any immigration status that you may be seeking, such as you may want to move to Canada. You
Yes.
understand that could affect, okay, and you still want to waive your rights, understanding that?
Yes.
Okay. As to the added count 2 of use of methamphetamine, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Can I have a factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor, I want to turn your attention back, Mr. Cheney, to September 4th of this year. Were you on East Cesar Chavez Street in the city of Lansing?
Yes.
Needham County, state of Michigan.
Yes, I was.
And you smoked or used some methamphetamine, is that correct?
Yes.
How'd you know it to be meth?
I don't know, I guess.
But based on your experience, you believed it to be meth, is that correct? And you had no lawful purpose or prescription for it, is that correct?
Right.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for Mr. Cheney. Or is it Cheney?
Cheney.
Cheney.
Any questions, Mr. Martin? You're muted.
Nothing from the people. It does sound as though we entered a factual basis on file 22-2357, which is fine, but it would just reverse the order of the the plea agreement. Does that make sense, Your Honor?
It does. I'm just I have to switch my notes, that's all.
Oh, I think I got you, Chris. What you're saying.
Yep, no worries. I can, so we're gonna do that on file number ending in 2073, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll just switch it around. But the court is satisfied with the factual basis, and I'll accept your plea. I find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. This matter will be set for sentencing, and the sentencing is going to be on October 27th at 8:30 in the morning. You need to meet with probation so they can provide the court with a pre-sentence report and recommendation. You're also going to have to undergo a substance use assessment, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions today, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
None, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing from the people. Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Cheney.
Thank you.
Okay, let me change this one here. You have to change this file that did the sentencing date on. Okay. You can let them know you're all set, Mr. Cheney.
Okay.
Judge, have a good day. Take care, Mr. Murray.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're just waiting for Mr. Moore again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's in the wrong note. I'm sorry, what? I need the other file back. Cheney, not the AG one, the other one. The one that said dismiss because they have to switch these notes around.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, sir, what is your name?
Comanche Clay.
Okay, Mr. Clay, have you spoken to your attorney?
No.
Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Clay's attorney earlier and we emailed the court that their intention was to leave the matter on for preliminary exam next week.
But he hasn't spoken to him, is what he said.
Yeah, and obviously that's not a conversation I'm a part of. I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay, you've never spoken to your attorney, Mr. Clay?
No, I spoke to him yesterday. I just ain't talked to him today.
Oh, okay. Well, my question actually was not if you spoke to him today. Okay, so I'm assuming that when you spoke to him that they addressed that you're going to proceed with your exam.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that was the purpose of today, to see if we need to run the exam next week. So you're all set for today, sir, and we'll see you next week in person.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe that Ms. Nash is aware of this, but I believe Mr. Clay was sentenced yesterday on some probation violations that will likely end up with some MDOC time. I don't know when he'll be transported into their custody, but it might necessitate a writ for the date of the preliminary exam.
I put it in the file.
Sounds good. Okay, sir, what is your name?
Andrews Morgan.
Oh, you didn't need to speak to him, did you?
No.
Okay. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Andres Morgan. File number is 22-02343 FY. Council appearance.
Chris Martin for the people.
Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Mr. Morgan.
Okay, today's the date set for a probable cause conference. This matter is scheduled for preliminary examination next week on September 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. How are we proceeding on this?
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Goodrich at length yesterday. It's my understanding that Mr. Morgan wishes to plead guilty to a misdemeanor count of methamphetamine use today.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And if the court would like, I can read the code section and penalty into the record.
Yes, please.
Yes, the agreement is for Mr. Morgan to plead guilty to an added count of methamphetamine use in violation of MCL 333.7404 2A-A. That is a 1-year misdemeanor with a fine of up to $2,000. Upon successful plea, the people agreed to dismiss count 1 as charged, and any other information on the complaint. And there's a Killebrew agreement to no further upfront jail at the time of sentencing.
That's complete and accurate.
Yes, Your
Honor. And you've been in there almost.
Okay, and Mr. Morgan, you heard the offer?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay, and you discussed that with your attorney?
I did.
You want to accept the offer today?
Yes, I wanted to accept the offer. Was that with the personal reconnaissance included? I'm not sure what he mean by no.
Well, personal recognizance would have been a bond, and I don't know if you're asking for a bond motion, but your attorney can address that after we deal with the plea, if that's what you're doing.
Okay.
This was with the Killer Brew, and the Killer Brew is agreement about how you're going to be sentenced. That's what he means about the agreement of no upfront jail.
Okay, I thought that was a part, the PR was a part of the deal.
No, he can't. That's not a part of the deal. What the deal is how will you be sentenced, and they're agreeing that you'll be sentenced to no upfront jail time.
And to clarify, Mr. Morgan, that was something we're planning to ask after the plea today.
Oh, okay. I didn't thought. All right, thank you.
Okay, so you still understand your plea offer?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, you have the right in this matter to proceed to a trial, and you have the right to have a trial by judge or by jury. At the time of trial, you have the right to remain silent, not have silence be used against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent at trial until proven guilty. And you have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge being brought against you, and that to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. You also have the right to see, hear, or question any other witnesses that the prosecution intends to call against you. You have the right to call your own witnesses at trial or present evidence that you believe would further a defense to the charge. You understand those rights?
I do, Your Honor, and I accept it.
Okay, and you would have to actually give up those rights if you want to plead guilty. Is that what you want to do?
That is exactly what I want to do, Your Honor.
Okay, is anybody threatening you to want to give up your rights?
No, ma'am.
Has any promises been made to you to get you to want to give up your rights?
No, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation or parole?
I am not.
Do you understand that a guilty plea could result in a conviction that you may need to put on either a future job application, or you may need to report it to your current employer?
That I do understand that.
Okay. And do you also understand that a guilty plea could result in a conviction that may have an impact on any immigration status that you may be seeking?
I do understand that too.
Oh, okay, very good. As to, well, lastly, are you pleading guilty because you believe you're guilty?
I'm pleading guilty because I know I'm guilty.
Okay, very good. As to the added count 2 of methamphetamine use, how do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Can I have a factual basis?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Morgan, on or about September 1st of 2022, and Your Honor, for the record, sorry, what's it called? Not the complaint has the wrong year, but
okay,
the actual date was 2022. Were you at a location at 438 East Edgewood Boulevard?
Yes, I
Commonly
was.
known as B2 Outlet.
That is correct. I was.
Okay, and is that located in the city of Lansing, the county of Ingham, and the state of Michigan?
It is located in the same area that you just mentioned.
And while you were in that vicinity, had you used the substance of methamphetamine?
I was under influence at that time in that area. Yes.
Did you know that it was methamphetamine from prior usage?
Yes, I did.
And did you have any type of prescription or legal right to use methamphetamine?
No, I don't think there is one for that, sir. Sorry.
Right, Your Honor, I believe we have a factual basis for use of methamphetamine.
Any questions, Mr. Martin?
I agree with Mr. Goodrich. I believe he covered everything.
If the court is satisfied with the factual basis, I'll accept your plea. I find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. I also need to advise you that because there is an agreement about your sentencing, that agreement, sir, is between you and Mr. Martin and your attorney. I am not a party to that agreement, so I'm not agreeing that I'm not going to put you in jail for your actions, okay?
Okay.
If at the time of sentencing I decide to put you in jail, then I will give you an opportunity then to withdraw your plea, okay?
Okay.
So your matter is going to be scheduled for sentencing. Your sentencing is going to be October 27, 2022 at 8:30 in the morning, okay?
Okay.
Probably gonna file another bond motion, but at this point, Aquilina has denied that the trial agreement won. Your trial is not until March.
No, I actually did. We still waiting to receive insurance.
Okay, very good. And so you're also gonna have to undergo a substance use assessment as part of your pre-sentence referral, okay?
Okay,
So you'll meet with probation and they'll provide the court with information about how they believe you should be sentenced.
okay.
Okay,
If we don't have it, then like what is
do you have any questions today, sir?
just, it's not any, just, questions about, well, my lawyer, if I could talk to him, I don't know.
Okay, you're gonna need to talk to your lawyer? Okay, well, once we're off the record, he can log in and talk to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, any additional matters, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to address Mr. Morgan's bond in this matter.
You can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, a week ago, Mr. Morgan had 4 files that he was facing. He resolved 3 of them earlier this week in front of Your Honor. He is now in the middle of a 7-day sentence that we believe will end on Saturday. He has a stable address. He works doing some landscaping type of work. So he has a job. He'd like to get back to that job while the season's still before we get to winter time. So we would ask the court to reduce his bond from 3,000, 10% that it is now to just a 3,000 PR bond, and then release him, especially considering that he has a Killebrew no upfront jail at the time of sentencing this matter. Thank you.
I'm not a party to the Killebrew. I didn't say I wasn't gonna sentence him to jail. I don't know what I'm gonna sentence him to. However, he did plead to a misdemeanor. So there's a presumption that I won't be putting him in jail. I would imagine, sir, that it wouldn't be a problem for you to return to court for your sentencing date, will it?
No, it will not be. I just got a new cell phone number, and I know how to do the Zoom now.
What's your cell phone number?
It's 894-7158 or 58.
Area code 517?
Yeah, I just bought the phone. It's in my property downstairs in property. I just bought it like the same day that I got arrested. Yeah.
Okay, and what address are you gonna be staying at?
I'm gonna be at 5656 Ashley Drive, which is my family owned. My grandmother passed, and our family stays there with me and my uncle.
Okay, so you said he's gonna be in custody until when?
Saturday, we believe.
Okay, Mr. Cheney, you're gonna need to turn yourself into probation by Tuesday if you're released on Saturday, because they have to get you set up for your pre-sentence interview for your sentencing, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to grant the request to reduce the bond to 3,000 personal recognizance. It's because I'm trusting that you're going to follow the orders of the court and that you're going to appear at your next court date and you're going to appear on time, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
If you're having an issue with the Zoom, you can always appear in person.
I will.
Okay, while out on bond, you're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You need to make sure you report to your next court date, okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Any of those things will be a violation of the order. Also won't be helpful for Mr. Goodrich to argue that I shouldn't sentence you to jail time.
I know. I appreciate it.
You gotta help us help you, sir.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Do you have any questions?
No. Oh, yes. I missed the because I didn't bring a pen and a paper. The sentencing date for that would be
October 27th
October
at 8:30.
October 27th, 8:30 a.m. Okay.
Yep, and when in doubt, or if you can't find out where you put it, you always call your attorney.
Yeah. I just wrote my cell phone number down on his card so I can get him my new number. I'm gonna call him as soon as I get out of here.
Sounds good. Okay, I think he might have jotted it down though when you said it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
Nothing from the people.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Morgan. We'll
Okay,
see you
have-
on the 27th. Do
Yeah.
not forget to come to this building on
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay?
Tuesday, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye,
I
Lou.
think that's all we have. Did I miss something?
So confirming that Lewis is a bench warrant for his failure to appear.
That's correct. That's a bench warrant.
And have we reset the Jalen Mitchell matter from earlier?
We, not yet.
Okay.
Does he have a timeline with to address or no? He was exams today? Yeah. Just give me the file. I have to find good cause.
Okay.
And then you can set it. We haven't yet. She's got to grab the file so I can find good cause to adjourn it, because I think today was the date we needed to address the timeline.
Okay, well, have a nice time in Detroit, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. You have a good one.
All right, thanks.